This is craft a balanced lifestyle that you can stick to. I like to be a little more sassy and call it become a balanced boss bitch because that's just more fun, right? The first step is we're going to talk about the breakdown today, the boss bitch breakdown for this jam session. We want you to understand what all or nothing is. If you don't understand it, it's really hard for you to start to become aware of it when you start to do it. So our hope is that by the end of the workshop, you have definitely shined a light on the areas where you know you tend to go all or nothing. So we'll go through some examples. We'll also go through the pros and cons because there are some. And Denise is going to show us and tell us about the flat tire syndrome analogy. And then we're going to dive into the workshop piece of it. We'll split into breakout rooms. I will be with some of you and Denise will be with some of you. And then we're going to talk through that workbook together. And by the end, we want you to walk away with one key thing that you know will be the biggest style mover when it comes to where you're stuck with your health and fitness. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's probably not what you think. All right, Miss Denise is going to take the floor and she is going to talk to us about what is all or nothing.
Exactly. All right, so I want you guys to tell me with a thumbs up, first of all, who is here because you have all this shit figured out? I should not see one thumb, and I don't, so that's great. All right, so if you're here, it's most likely because you know you struggle somewhere with the all or nothing, and you're here for solutions, right? So first, we're going to talk about exactly what is all or nothing, because like Diane said, you might get surprised at some things that are present in your life that you're doing that you're not even realizing is actually an all or nothing mentality. So what exactly is it? So all or nothing thinking refers to thinking in the extremes, like one end of the spectrum or the other, right? You're either a success or you're a failure. You're either really good or you did really bad. You were perfect or you failed, right? There's no gray area. There's nothing in between. And the truth is, in between is where we want to be. That's actually where we thrive. That's where balance is. And that's where a lot of us struggle. So because this all or nothing mentality is holding you back, you cannot become your best self. So I want to tell you guys a little bit about how I struggled with this. So if you guys have heard any part of my story, I was a big binge eater. I mean, I really, really struggled with this for years. And I'd be lying if I said I've got it all figured out now. I still struggle. The difference now is just that I have the tools and the mindset resources to pull myself back, catch myself, and make changes before I'm a complete disaster, right? So I used to be that person that had to be like perfect. Every macro that went into my mouth was in the books, was in my fitness pal. Everything was weighed. And the minute I went off of that, that's it. I failed. I sucked. I can't do this. So I might as well just, eat the pantry. And I would literally eat the pantry. I would stand at the pantry and just shove food into my mouth and was never satisfied. So I am a huge believer that when you get this all or nothing mentality controlled, or at least aware of it, slowly you can start to control it. So if you're struggling with anything like that, you're in the right place, ladies. You can fix this. So you've probably heard time and time again, or let me know, you guys, if you've heard this, that you have to be 110% in order to achieve a goal. Thumbs up. Has anyone ever heard that? You have to give it your all. You have to be 110%, right? And in theory, this sounds like a really good motivator because it's like, all right, let's do this. We're gonna go all in, and it's a great motivator. And we're gonna talk about how that way of all or nothing can actually help you. But most of you have probably tried that. You probably tried going all in and being awesome and just being perfect. And how'd that work out for you? Right? It worked for a little while until it didn't, because giving 100% of the time is just not sustainable, let alone 110%, right? So Diane is going to share some examples of what like all or nothing is. And I want you to think about each one of these and how it resonates with you. But I also want you to think about, holy crap, I do that. I didn't realize that was an all or nothing. So really try to, look at the areas that surprise you because those are the areas that can creep back up if you're not aware of them. So let's talk about a couple of examples and really try to take note on which ones resonate with you and which ones surprise you.
Yeah, thank you, Denise. And to that point, I know there are a few of us here, not going to mention any names, who are past competitors or competitors, right? We see somebody covering their face, right? And I know this is a continual conversation that I need to have openly with you, those of you, and also just in general with the general public and honestly the brand, is that when we go into contest prep, that is all in and 110%, and also not sustainable and not recommended for the average person who just wants to feel good, look good, and get in shape. But we have been so trained by that mentality that anything less feels like a failure, right? It's like, damn, I used to be shredded, and it will eat at you unless you start to do some of the things we're talking about today, which is adapting different perspectives and mindsets around things. So that was my last little tidbit to add to that for sure. All right. So tell me in the chat how many of you are guilty of this. The diet starts on Monday. Definitely guilty. All of the things here that I'm talking, and Denise can attest to this, that we're talking to you about, were all things that we have done. I don't feel justified in talking about something or speaking to something if I actually haven't experienced it myself most of the time, or through coaching other clients through it. So this in particular, diet starts on Monday. Just, it's the shit show eating from Friday to Sunday, and then I'll get back on track on Monday, right? And then you just keep repeating that. And I don't know who got my little bit of an asshole email this week where I was like, let's do some girl math and find out how much that really adds up to. It's like 152 days of just restarting, your diet on Monday, because 152 days of just tomfoolery, right? So we want to get you out of that. And it's hard, especially with old ingrained, coding from marketing and diet stuff from back in the day, but it is possible. And it's a great spot to be in because it doesn't become something that you start and stop. It's just something that is how you live and just sort of molds with the chapters of your life. And we'll talk more about that in a little bit. So some examples of all or nothing, right? The classic couch potato. I don't know that the cool kids say that anymore, but back in the day, that's what my parents used to call it, was being a couch potato, eating, your Doritos, and then all of a sudden joining something and going full speed ahead with just 0 to 100, right? 6-day a week training plan. Then we have something like the bro meal plans. And bro meal plans, I feel like, were something that were probably created back when the first bodybuilders discovered how to get shredded. And they probably pinned it down to a handful of foods. And then once they started sharing that, everybody thought that it was just those foods and probably those magical amounts that were the only way that you could get in shape. And most people can't sustain that because bodybuilders are fucking crazy, okay? We will eat weird, dumb shit to get shredded so we can have a plastic trophy and then we say we did a thing, right? We accomplished this giant goal. That's not what most people want to do. That's not realistic. So bro meal plans are way too drastic. And as you can see, I'm a little ranty about it because we oftentimes at Venus or even through our online coaching get people that start with us and they're like, yeah, I was on this meal plan for like 10 weeks. And it's like tilapia, asparagus, and they toss them like a sweet potato as a refeed like once a week. And I'm just like, wait, you just wanted to like drop your blood pressure a little bit. What is happening? So it's just, those are all like just too crazy, over the top. Then we have the perfectionism where you feel like today was a good day because I was 100% on track. Or the flip side of that is today wasn't a good day because I weighed heavy, I didn't get my workouts in, and I just ate fast food all day. There's no Goldilocks, right? Like Goldilocks, I better be getting royalties from the Three Little Bears because Goldilocks is my bitch. Like that's a favorite spot to be in. Okay. And then there's the inconsistent routine where it's full focus, all on, all hands on deck. You avoid everything. You're like on your shit, but like way too much on your shit that the pendulum swings. And then we go to full neglect. You don't work out for months. You wait till January 1st, that whole shtick, right? So you could see why one, if it's not sustainable on that end, shouldn't be in your bag of tricks for your health and fitness. And the other is also not serving you as well.